thought. Oh wait,
no sound. Sound coming in. I'm seeing sound in
that mic.
I'm seeing sound come in through Open Broadcaster. I see one guy say yes. Okay, now
yes,
sound.
Now sound. All right, cool.
All right.
So
sound is good.
Oh, let me.
So I think I can.
That is us.
I think on here. No, I'll have to keep the text large. I'll just have to maximize this window when we go through super chats on this. If I F5 my way to freedom. Yeah, Workforce 520 says, "Hey guys, about to go to math, but I'll have a listen. I'll have a full listen later." Oh, thank you, Workforce 520. Good luck in math class.
Now, for the sake of
oh yeah, I can't have this thing going the whole time.
Yeah.
Gotta turn my fart fan off.
All right, so just for the sake of making editing, knowing where to start earlier or later, I guess intros, I guess.
Yep.
All right. Welcome to the RCR podcast. I believe this is number 49.
Wait, should we do a countdown and get audio? Because I didn't press record yet on.
Yeah, sure.
For the good audio.
Yeah, do
right.
that.
Hold for sound.
Welcome to the RCR podcast. It is RCR podcast number 49, New York Comic Con, for lack of a better term, because that's how, that's just what I came back from. Anyway, I am Nick.
I'm Brian.
And yeah, I saw an earlier question up top from somebody in the chat asking what happened to the Dale documentary I was in. The timeline that I was given was either fall 2018 or at some point in the first quarter of 2019. So there's really, there's no trailer yet, but this has been 4 years or more of this guy's life. It's a passion project for him in a huge way. And I'm proud to have been a part of it in any small way. But yeah. Oh, no, I'm good for now. I got my coffee from... They're rebranding to just Dunkin'. They want to get rid of donuts. Not get rid of donuts, but just the name, the word donuts.
We've been shortening it to Dunkin' anyway.
Yeah, they've been doing it in their own ad campaigns. If America runs on Dunkin'.
So yeah, Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin'. Well, we all know it's donuts. So are they gonna save on ink? Or is this somebody new in marketing who's stirring the pot just to make his or her or their mark?
Yeah, it's like the whole IHOB thing of becoming International House of Burgers, and then them walking that back when it went over like a fart in church and saying that, oh, it was only a promotion, we never intended to permanently change it. It's like, then why did you remove the P's and add B's to all of your storefronts?
Yeah.
Because you want to be known for more than pancakes. But no, stick with the thing you do well. It's what Gordon Ramsay tells everybody on Kitchen Nightmares. Pick one thing and do it really well.
If you're known for the guy who makes really good pancakes, so what?
Why not?
Like this one place Nick and I go to, and right, there's a number of places we go to, but my local one is known for breakfast, really good breakfast. They do other things, not that great. Yeah. Their salads are like, I mean, it's above average, but it's not blowing my mind. It's not like a dedicated health food salad place that has like really fresh vegetables. Like, I know this stuff came from a supermarket. Yeah. But their eggs and their breakfast sandwiches, amazing. So what's wrong with that? Being known for a place that does really good breakfast sandwiches.
Yeah. The salads are fine. They just give you an irresponsible amount of it.
Yeah.
It's just this whole thing of salad that's meant to feed like 3 people.
I'd like a chef salad. I'd like just rolls of cooked ham.
Yeah.
And pastrami on a sandwich because you get your money's worth.
It's like that Family Guy bit of a salad from every Italian pizza place. But yeah, someone asked how the car search is going for my mom. Very slowly, we are kind of testing out things, trying to figure out what it is she wants. I think she's kind of married to the idea of a Highlander, but that question was from Eric Pedersen. Hey, Eric. She found this 2013 Highlander. Now, granted, she doesn't want to go lower than 2015 because she's of the mind that cars of a certain age, she's weirdly ageist about cars, and I'm like, Ma, it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter how old a car is, and its mileage, it really depends on the owner.
Yeah.
But I understand having, like, it's me and motorcycles. I've driven old bikes for a long time. I want a new bike. I want a modern motorcycle. Your mom wants a modern car.
Yeah.
Because what's the Impala or the Malibu?
The Malibu is 2002, and she's had it every single one of those 16 years.
Yeah.
And what's crazy... Oh, Workforce 520 asked the mom question. Well, everybody asked the mom question.
Yeah.
But basically, they wanted $20,000 for this 2013 Highlander, and that's before titles and all that other mess. Yeah. And I'm just kind of like... She's just like a hard pass, because now, from the experience that we had at the dealership, she kind of has a better idea of what it is she's willing to pay. Like, she had that idea before, but she wasn't sure that she'd be able to get something she wanted for the price she wanted it. But now that she realizes that there actually are kind of options out there, I had people after the last podcast, I really want to say thank you to everyone who reached out to me after the podcast to offer suggestions for my mom's new car, just to refresh people's memories. What she was looking for was a 7-passenger vehicle that preferably had some kind of entertainment system in it for the kids, just to kind of stop them from making kid noises. But she's kind of compromised on 6-passenger and no sort of
8-passenger, you mean?
Or 8-passenger, yeah. But she's like compromised on there being 6. Like, she'll take a 6.
She still wants a third row.
Yeah, she still wants a third row.
I think a third row is good.
Yeah. But
can I just turned on a little fan here? Tell me if you can hear this.
Yeah.
Because I put a fan on just because I'm drinking scotch right now, and when I drink, I get sweaty.
Yeah.
So I got this little breezer going on, and tell me if you can hear that fan in the background.
I put on a vest for this. I found it in my trunk from the RCR Christmas party. I put it on in my trunk and then just never took it out again, and now it's here. Saying can't hear it. Can't hear it. Very nice.
Can't hear the fan. Awesome.
Right. Very nice.
Can't hear that fan.
So basically, I've got recommendations to everything from Chrysler Pacifica to a GMC something. Arcadia.
Our Arcadia. Yeah. Does anybody know anything or drive anything about a GMC Arcadia?
Yeah. I think the thing about it is that it kind of looks like an Ascent if you squint.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's just an idea, but my mom is just really eager to get rid of the Malibu, because remember how she mentioned how basically the dealership that she got it from and was doing all the work and maintenance on it, they couldn't figure out what the problem was, and I was and so they told her to drive it for like X number of miles and then bring it back and see what the deal is. Well, now she it's a rebadged Chevy Traverse. There you go. Well, now we know what it is.
My brother rear-ended an Arcadia in the truck the other day. It fared better. Well, which one fared? Oh, the Arcadia. I had an Arcadia, transmission broke. Stay the hell away from those transverse monstrosities. Really?
Yeah.
Arcadias are nice. My neighbor had one but traded it for an Explorer. Someone forget the Arcadia ever existed. The GMC Arcadia is fine. It's rebadged, much better looking Traverse. My mom likes the Arcadia's looks, but my dad disapproves. GMC Arcadia is a standard run-of-the-mill SUV with a transverse V6 Autobox and backseat suck even, and the backseats suck even on the Denali. Well, the Denali is Do they use the same seats from a Denali? Because a Denali is the big one.
Yeah, that one's...
A Denali is what they build the Escalades out of now.
Yeah.
So... That's the thing. Like, I started to think about used Escalades, but used... Like, remember that one we drove?
So
that
much
was
car.
Okay. It's so much car.
Oh, yeah, the velour interior for Sin. That one.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. I'm thinking of the Suburban. No, the Escalade. That was just a lot.
The whatever leather GM uses just doesn't hold up, and we don't want leather really anyway.
Yeah,
because the kids are going to mess it up, and
it's just going to be a mess. But we figured it's going to be kind of a time-intensive process of finding this car because we live in an area where we don't have a whole bunch of options.
You gotta leave. Yeah,
we gotta go on a drive, which I don't mind doing. I'll drive my mom wherever she needs to go, but she just doesn't want to drive the Malibu long distances. So, is what it is.
My pitch is for the Toyota Sienna. It uses the same engine as the Highlander. It is a minivan.
Very nice.
And it does have a third row.
Yeah, so my mom has no problem with it being...
You may be able to get them cheaper than SUVs because I don't want to drive a minivan. I need a truck.
Yeah.
All right. So minivan, it may be cheaper. Who knows? If I can wrangle one up, I looked through our submissions and no one in the area has a new Sienna. Hey, that'd be neat if someone in East Central Pennsylvania has a 2015 or newer Toyota Sienna that Nick's mom can just drive outside of a dealership or buying scenario.
Yeah.
Where you can honestly be honest about what it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where, if you sometimes when you're searching for a new car, you have that one person who has a holdup about it because the thing is that they want something that will project their masculinity more. And me, I don't care because I'm not going to be driving the thing. I'm not going to be driving this thing. This is just all her.
Workforce 520 says, and I know I'm skipping ahead of a few super chats, but I haven't forgotten the other ones. We have an Acadia at my work. If they can last in a rental fleet with a few problems and they can last with mom, all-wheel drive works great. Height adjustable lift gate.
And my mom is always saying, I want something with all-wheel drive. And even you could tell her, four-wheel drive is fine, but she still wants the all-wheel drive.
One guy, Aaron Heinen. Yeah. Sienna. They are by far the best minivans on the market. They even have all-wheel drive versions too. So nice on road trips.
Yeah, it's definitely worth looking into. I'm liking all the ideas.
Toyota Sequoia is too much car. I think it's a Sequoia, a 4Runner, a rebadged 4Runner. I don't know, but those are big.
Yeah, my mom doesn't mind driving a big car, but I think, because hell,
Fleet Sienna interior doesn't hold up. Holes in the floor. Ugh.
Yeesh. Well, that's kind of... It's gonna...
Get a Honda Pilot. Seriously, the Pilot shits down the throat of the rest. Honda Pilots are good.
Do they have third rows?
Yep, they do. Huh. They're tall and they're big. Maybe your mom would like it. She's going to be ascending into the driver's seat like a kindergartner on the big kids playground slide.
And this is one of those things where sorry mom, she doesn't watch the podcast, so it's fine, but one of her things was always she hated being short because she wanted to be in the Marines, but she was too short. And it's one of those things where I think it almost would fulfill some loftier idea of who she could have been if she were born taller. If she ascends into this enormous car and
she doesn't mind being in a tall vehicle?
No, she doesn't mind really anything. I'm trying to think of things that actually bother her with regards to cars. I mean, granted, it would be a bigger car than she's ever owned or driven, but she's driven moving trucks before. She's not a stranger to having big things on the road. She's what bugs her is encountering bigger things on the road.
My mom is kind of like that.
She has that anxiety of being dwarfed by like an 18-wheeler. She'll just let an 18-wheeler pass and then just sort of idle behind them until she can pass. But yeah, I did want to get into New York Comic-Con just for a little bit.
Yeah, don't worry, we'll get to the super chat questions.
And trust me, I will eventually come back to this live chat once the video is updated and just go through everyone's suggestions for ideas.
Just so you know, Henry, with your question, thoughts on UFC 229, the controversy surrounding Khabib and McGregor. Gosh, we could go on for that. We were talking about that before then. But Henry, you are our bookmark where we're going to come back to the super chat once we get done. Well, once Nick gets done with his New York Comic-Con stories.
Yeah. Well, basically, okay, so I go there and I get invited to a pop-up, which is for the new Game of Thrones whiskey. You know, they have those monsters on Game of Thrones that are called White Walkers. Well, Johnny Walker decided they were going to do a Game of Thrones whiskey called Johnny Walker White Walker. Or it's just White Walker. So you go in, and I was standing in this line for an hour because I'm an idiot, apparently. But as you get closer to this place, you start to feel the cold. And as they open it, it's almost like they've redesigned this place to be an almost wintry, you know, you look like you're north of the wall from Game of Thrones. And they have these casks of scotch in there. And basically you get to try it, but it's one of those things where I don't think they noticed if you take more than one, which I did because I'm terrible. So and they had a whole little thing of pretzels all along the walk, and so you could like take pictures in there and you know, do the whole social media thing. But I was more about just trying the whiskey, and as soon as I tried it, I was like, okay, like I can rock with this. But it was kind of too smooth, if that makes any sense. Like there was
smoother than this.
Well,
because that's the Glenlivet 15 that Justin Bernash gave us.
They're about on level. I mean, my thing is that
Glenfiddich, I'm sorry.
Yeah. My thing is that like I want my scotch to have a little bit of bite to it.
Me too.
And this one kind of didn't. It was a good whiskey though, so I couldn't really complain. But then when you get to the end of the thing, there's a little place where you can take pictures and also buy a bottle. But the problem is, if you buy a bottle, they don't let you back into the convention center because this is outside of the Jacob Javits Center. So I would have had to walk all the way back to my hotel and then drop that off and then walked all the way back to the convention center. And after that, I was just like, screw this. So I went back to the convention center. Oh, I messed up I got a minor cut on my thumb from making ginger tea.
Is it in that one place where, you know, you need multiple Band-Aids to keep it on?
It's at the top right here.
I got some stuff for that.
Oh, I mean, it's happened on Monday and I think it's already kind of closing up. But it was just very, you know, yeah, it smells awful. But
this is great if you get a cut.
Oh, is it
area
like
with that liquid bandage stuff?
Liquid bandage?
It stings like a motherfucker when you put it on, but it's only for a second and then it stops. Maybe you don't even feel anything because it's closed.
Yeah, it's like closing up. Like 2 days ago, it was wide open. I thought I was going to have to go get one stitch. Yes, emergency room doctor, 1 stitch, please.
Yeah.
But I make my own ginger tea, and I was using the peeler to get the skin off. And just completely, you know, wasn't thinking, nicked myself. And yeah, that was the story of me. But anyway, I go back in and they have a bunch of more cars at New York Comic Con this year than any year that I can remember previously. Mm-hmm. And the wraps are more on the car are more ridiculous than I remember them ever being, in the sense that, okay, the first 3 Chevys when you walk in are all Disney badged. So you get an Equinox that is wrapped with...
I'm losing my hair, Clock Monster. That's what's up. I'll be 40 in 3 years. Men lose their hair. Sorry about that.
It happens. No, but I think there's... The Equinox was Nightmare Before Christmas. The Corvette, which I posted on the Regular Cars Facebook page and on my Twitter, is just... it had a bunch of different Disney things, but on the hood was that scene from The Little Mermaid where like Ariel is like leaning up and splashes behind her. It's just so weird. It's like a wife said that her husband could finally get a Corvette, but she had one like catch to it. But then there was a Bolt that was covered in Mickey Mouse livery. And then when you go way the hell back, you know, they have the same Camaro that's American Cancer Society for whatever reason. I don't know why it's the Camaro every year, but they had some inflatable animal that I couldn't describe or figure out what it was. It looked like some kind of monkey, or some kind of, you know, ape of some kind, but for whatever reason, it was wearing a pink t-shirt and you couldn't really make out what it was. And then, they had a Chevy Tahoe that was wrapped around with like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse livery, which is the point of, because the movie's coming out in December. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff. I got to meet the pro wrestling legend Sting.
Sting.
Sting is great.
When I was little, I thought that Sting and Sting were the same person.
Sting the wrestler actually owns the trademark to the name Sting. Like he got it first. Yeah, and so it's one of those.
So can Sting not put, like, the artist Sting cannot put the name Sting on his album?
No, he's just letting him use it. Like, because, you know, there's no point to be a dick about it. But also, you know, and it's the name Sting. It's kind of a weird. It's a word, you know, and so it's weird to it's
an action,
like
it's a verb.
It's copyrighted for pro wrestling thing. So like Sting the singer cannot come to a wrestling thing and be Sting, and be promoted as Sting, like, hey, Sting is coming, and then you get there, it's like that one Full House where they think REM is going to be playing the Smash Club, and it's just these old ladies who abbreviate their band name using the first letter of each of their first names. That is a very deep pool. I'm sorry. But there were a lot of other really cool things. I mean, like I had this conversation with Sting about the holder that I had for my camera and whether I thought it was secure in there. And I had my 20-year-old step nephew with me for 2 of the days, and he's a huge anime fan. And the reason I wanted to bring him was because he'd never gotten to experience anything like this before. And so he was like a kid in the candy store with all the cosplay going around. But what's weird is that when we briefly got separated, I ran into the hormone monster from the Netflix series Big Mouth, which it's a very dirty.
That's with Nick Kroll. Right?
Yeah. And so basically you could go up and hug the hormone monster and he would encourage you to like rub his nipple or do whatever. And so I went up, I was like hugging him, and he like, you know, grabbed me and all that other stuff. And then they offer you a waiver to sign so they could use it in a promo. And so I'm like, I don't care. I've done worse in an average RCR episode, or said worse, right?
Yeah.
And I still haven't seen that like promo, even though Big Mouth Season 2 has already been released. But it turns out...
Did that dry?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, very nice.
That usually stays on through one shower. Like, it takes a while for that stuff because it's like an adhesive mixed with iodine or antiseptic. So someone was worried that it only comes with one brush, that doesn't mean it's sterile. No, it's like half alcohol in there. There's no bacteria growing in that jar. Anyway, you were saying. Oh,
and before I get back to my story, Andres, best of luck on your ophthalmology test tomorrow. So rock and roll. Anyway, I found out at the end of it that it turns out Nick Kroll was in the hormone monster suit the entire time. That was the twist.
Just what? It was Nick Kroll?
Yeah, Nick Kroll was walking around in the suit. And so I'm like, okay, so I just molested Nick Kroll for some reason. You know, because they're like, as they're taking the picture, they're like, you know.
I was just listening to him on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah, he's great. Like, Big Mouth is a hilarious show, and it's just this hard R rated animated series about like 12 and 13-year-olds who are going through puberty and how they're dealing with the changes in their bodies and the sexuality. There's a character who like uses his pillow as like a real doll, and then they have a subplot where like the pillow gets pregnant because like the pillow, I guess there's a limited amount of inanimate objects that are real in this universe. But anyway, I haven't started season 2 yet because I'm dedicated to finishing this RCR story before we leave for Austin. But and it will be done. Look at me. Mm-hmm. I will finish this RCR story by it will go live next Monday. All 5 episodes are dropping at one time in a playlist. It's going to be Nick Flicks and Chill, and you guys are going to be open to watching all of it, and I hope you all enjoy it because I literally did not work on my graduate thesis this hard.
That's nuts.
Yeah, this is more time and effort than anything that I put into anything for this channel or anything that I've put in for my own,
I hope this is going to be on the level with Down the Rabbit Hole.
Yeah.
That guy puts out one documentary every 2 or 3 months.
Yeah. Oh, what was the one that I just watched of his? Oh, The Gamer Life.
Yeah.
Which I was kind of amazed because I'm like, how did that get popular?
Yeah.
There was no craft in that show whatsoever.
Yeah.
He's standing in front of a TV that's playing the game that they're doing, which I guess, that's the least you could do. But then you're trying to get, instead of doing the video card, you're just a camera filming this thing and you can't even say, it's weird. That's a great episode of Down the Rabbit Hole. But yeah, ultimately, New York Comic Con was a lot of fun. I saw a lot of amazing cosplay. My image folders of all the pictures that I took, I uploaded them to Imager on my account, Regular Cars the Roman, and it went viral. Went to the front page of Imager twice. So I ended up in their most viral category twice. And I think most of it is because it's creative cosplay, but a lot of it is because, really good looking women, not even necessarily like skimpily clad. Like the most gorgeous person there who I'm like, I found the woman I'm going to marry, was dressed as Ciri from The Witcher 3. And, there's nothing like really suggestive about the costume. It's just she was stunning. And then there was also a woman there who's there every year, and I always love her cosplays, and I tell her this every time I see her. But she was walking around as a cover for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Oh, with the head cut out.
It's like that's just exceptional.
Nice.
But yeah, that was my experience in New York Comic Con. It's great every year. It's my personal Disney World to me. So yeah.
I still have never been to a comic convention.
I mean, I don't think that, like, my read is that I don't think you would enjoy it, just because it involves sort of a weird amount of, well, actually, no, because there is this feeling of generalized acceptance. I mentioned this in my New York Comic Con diary from last year, that it's the one place where I can go where I feel like I don't have to explain myself. Okay. Because I'm weird, but I can be as weird as I want. I don't have to worry that people...
excuse me. I farted in the direction of my fan, and now my sins are coming back to me. Yeah.
But basically, I feel like I never have to explain myself, that everyone's going to get a reference that I make or anything that I do. Or it's even better when you see something that's a reference that people don't understand, but you do, and you point it out to that person, and then they light up because they get the reference, or they get that you get it.
Yeah.
I dressed up as Connor from Detroit Become Human one of the days, which is a video game great story, and I got recognized like a couple of times.
Nice.
And that's never happened.
Connor?
As Connor.
Okay.
There was an RCR fan there, and I was hoping to run into that person, but I didn't get to. Because
there was another guy who knows who you are who is there too. Do you remember the black Trans Am we filmed down in Oaks?
Yep.
Oh gosh.
Was this a day where there was a gun show going on in the in the convention center there? And we were like debating, flirting with going to the gun show. No, this was a
different day.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a black Trans Am. It was the one where the guy took the 305 engine out, put in a 350 with a carburetor. Do you remember that?
I think I do. I think I vaguely remember this.
Okay, the fan of us who was at San Diego Comic-Con, I linked you in a tweet. He was there. He does a bunch of voiceover work for games, or animes, like 2 English animes, and I forget what. I ran into him at Too Many Games.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like, I go to the too many games because it's local, and I also know the owners from Screenwave because they're car guys.
Yeah.
And half the time it's just me talking to them about cars and not video games. Anyway, that was one person at Comic-Con that I thought, or New York Comic-Con that I thought you meant.
Yeah, the reason I ended up not running
He's
into
a black guy with a mohawk. Do you remember that?
Now I do.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. That's all you need to say. I ended up missing him because that was the day of the Scotch tasting, and it was off site, and I was gone for 2 hours, hour and a half of which was just waiting in line, and then the other half was just getting back to the convention center. And I mean, I swear and I do plan on going to the New York Auto Show this year. I had a good time as like the roving intrepid reporter who was just kind of there and actually reporting on the cars, because I made my New York Auto Show video in an attempt to be funny, but I found that just as much if I just talked about the new cars that were coming out and what the new features are in an almost like Doug DeMuro, Saab Kyle kind of way, people didn't seem to mind it. Like, it didn't have to be funny. And so I kind of like having that freedom of like, if I want to go there and I'm not feeling like on, that I can just say, hey, look at this. This is what they announced. This is the news. This is what's real in the streets. And people can kind of get something out of that. And now the bus, instead of taking us to the Port Authority, it drops you off right in Weehawken. You take a ferry over, and then that ferry shits you out right in front of the Javits Center. It's beautiful. It's fucking tremendous, Joe Rogan. But yeah. How's your knee doing?
Okay, knee stories and my rehab on my right knee. The diagnosis is chronopatella something. You will know it by its more street name, runner's knee. All it is I overused my knee because I run all the time and I do nothing but cardio. Everything that involves knees and legs, because it's always leg day for me.
Yeah, cardio's like your favorite, though.
I know. So what happened, according to like the doctor's diagnosis, what chronopatella, what runner's knee is I use my knee so much that the cartilage underneath the patella, which is the scientific name for the kneecap, is wearing down. So it hurts. It's like a bushing on a car, like tie rod ends, just wearing out. They're getting old. Unfortunately, you can't really replace it unless you do total knee replacement surgery. So, what they did was they said, well, we could think about surgery, and I'm paraphrasing what the doctor said, or we can shoot you full of steroids and inflammation suppressors, and you take it easy for 6 months. It was 6 months, 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So, doctor's orders are no leg work for 6 weeks.
Damn.
Which is right. Now my legs, all right. I can't do cardio. Can't do legs, and I can't run. I can't even do the elliptical, not even the rowing machine. Like nothing that excessively bends the knee, because as you bend your knee, the kneecap rides in this groove between what's your big bone in the upper part?
It's not the tibia, is it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, between the two, where the two bones meet, the patella runs in between the two.
Yeah.
So, avoid excessive bending of the knee. Certainly no squats. No deadlifts.
What about in Austin, the slow rolling shots? Like, do you want me to get those?
Well, I can't take the Steadicam with on the plane
that's
anyway,
right.
so we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, no worries.
So, it's Thursday. And about on Tuesday, okay, so the nurse goes away and comes back with what looks like a little takeout tray that's sealed, and she peels away the lid like a little aluminum tray, like you would get at a takeout place, like curry, and she peels away the lid. And inside, I guess it's like the knee steroid kit. It says everything you need. She peels it up, pulls out this needle. It's got about a 3-inch needle part and like a 5-inch cartridge. on the back. And it's filled with stuff. And I'm like, she's saying, okay, this is a steroid shot. You may experience irritability and flushing of the face. Relax. It's like, there's going to be a slight pin. So she grabs the skin below the patella. It's like, okay, there's like, I'm going to go in sideways. I don't look at it. What I wanted to do, I asked her, like, can I film this? And she says, no one has ever asked me that before. So I didn't film it because I wanted to make a video that's just me saying roids, and like watching this stuff. Like, I am getting a steroid shot. So she injects it into the area just below the patella, and then starts massaging it. Says, well, I got to move it around a little bit. I guess get it to absorb faster. And says, okay, there's some numbing agent in the mix, and you're going to feel fine for the first day, but once that wears off, you may experience elevated levels of pain. And I have a look, like I lean over and look at the ingredients that's on it, and sure enough, it said lidocaine, and immediately my mind went to No Country for Old Men, where Sugar does the self-surgery part, and I pause the clip when I'm looking at it again on YouTube, and saying, oh, lidocaine, that's what the character is just injecting into himself.
Yeah.
Sure enough, lidocaine works instantly as a numbing agent. Like it just dulls all pain. So, and it dulls it to the point, like when I put weight on it, like I couldn't feel my knee at all. It's like, but like no pins and needles. It's like everything's dead right here.
Damn.
So I kind of like walk a little bit weird and hand in my insurance card, pay my $40 copay. And by the time I was out the door, it like kind of felt normal.
Nice.
The next day, pain came back. It was kind of sharp most of the day. She said, don't exercise for 3 days. Like, just don't do anything. Just take it easy. That was tough for me.
Yeah, like that's like telling you not to breathe.
I know. And sure enough, the irritability was real. Like, I remember there's this girl I talked to a lot at the grocery store, and I'm like having a really fast conversation with her. It like generally feels like I'm sipping coffee all day long.
Huh.
And then when I can go to the gym after the 3 days, it's like, well, for the next 6 weeks until I think it's the last week of November when I go in for the follow-up. And I guess then they'll tell me I can do leg stuff again. It's all upper body stuff for the next 6 weeks. So that's what I've been doing at the gym. Just, and the first time back, like I'm curls. Wake up the next day, there's no pain.
Huh.
That's the queer part about it. Because like normally if I do, because I hardly work upper body at all.
Yeah.
So I started working out. I was like, I recover instantly. It's like, no wonder people do juice.
Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah.
Oh, stuff heals really fast. Yeah, it's a hell of a drug.
Yeah, so just hope USADA doesn't visit.
Like I'm gonna piss hot.
Yeah.
But also like there was like super confidence last week. Like I was going up and talking to people like assertively like I wouldn't done. And I pissed this guy off while riding my motorcycle. Well, not riding it. Here's what happened. I stopped at a Turkey Hill on my way back from hanging out with Ted. Ted is the graphic designer who designed the RCR logo. And he rides motorcycles, and I just bought I sold my DR, as you saw in the previous video, and I bought a 2008 Suzuki GSX 650F. So I rode it down to Ted's, and on the way back I stopped for gas and to just get like 2 eggs. I stopped at Turkey Hill and there was like nothing healthy in there except for those 2 eggs that are in the thing. Yeah. I'm like, all right, eggs are fine. So I get 2 eggs and I'm eating them, and up pulls up this Honda with like really childish phrases written on it. Like breaking necks, taking names, like vinyl on the windshield. It's lowered. It's got the boat. It's like the Ben-Hur spikes that are on the lug nuts. And I look at it and I just laugh right in the guy's face. I thought I had my smoked face shield on. Nope, I had the clear one. He sees me laughing and he looks at me and he gets out of the car like an angry 20-year-old would.
Yeah.
Where everything's angry and this is his aggressive Civic. It's not a turbo. And I'm like, this is silly. And what I'm really laughing at is myself, because I drove the exact same type of car in 2000.
Yeah.
By Dodge Neon with the racing stripes that I put on myself. And the Knight Rider scanner light and the light up windshield washer nozzles. It was dumb. Painted my wheel covers black. But like, oh, it's just the same stuff, different generation. And I laugh and I'm like, the kid he's got the baby face, but he's getting that, he has the big dick walk as he gets out of the car, going to a Turkey Hill with his girlfriend. And I'm sitting on my bike and I'm like, I gotta look at this guy again. Now I caught eyes with him when he got out of the car, and then I'm looking through the glass at the Turkey Hill at him, and he's looking back at me.
Yeah. He's
angry. He comes out and he looks at me and says, "What's so funny?" And I tap at the side. My helmet was on, and I tap on the side of the helmet and said, "I can't hear you. I can't hear you." I'm like yelling through my helmet with the faceplate. "I can't hear you." And he just kind of looks at me and comes back inside. And in that moment, like riding away, I thought, oh shit, this guy was ready to fight. He was angry because I was laughing at his car. And I think on a level he knew. Like you know that projected anger that and also when I looked and saw how angry it was, like, that's me again. At age 20, this filled, like, you're coming to terms that the world is so large and the expectations for success and manliness are so great, you have no idea how you're going to ascend that mountain and be worthwhile.
Damn.
So you're trying whatever you have in your book of instructions that you've figured out in 20 years, and the best you've been able to come up with is decorating your car because you're a car guy. And then on a level you know that this really isn't working. But as the hip-hop commentator Jay Smooth said, to a young man, masculinity is his only currency in this world. And to threaten that is to threaten his essence. And he must meet it with full force.
Damn.
So, like, this kid would probably try to push me off my bike because he was that furious in a way a 20-year-old can only be.
Yeah.
To, like, suddenly the future disappears and the moment now is all that matters.
Yeah. And I can't imagine being that upset about something like that when you consider the idea that you could have been laughing about anything and you just happened to be looking at his car while you were doing it. Yeah. Like, I've had that happen before of just, I was looking at something, people think I'm laughing at them and I'm really not. But I think that type of person is quick to anger anyway. Like, it wasn't about you. No. It could have just been like,
he could have been having a shitty day anyway.
And you know, the girlfriend is there just like, no, not this again. Like, this is not the father of my kids. Like, that's when she knows. Like, because that's probably like the third time it's happened that week.
Yo, that's right. Like, because she didn't come outside of the Turkey Hill.
Either that or she's so desensitized to it that because it's just something he does. Like, oh, well, there goes Jacob flying off the handle. Sorry to the Jacobs of the world. I don't know if it's Jacob. But it's something that young men do, especially because, I don't know, media, the politicization of just making it feel like men are being attacked. And so we have to just be manly men all the time. Yeah. It's just like, no, it's just let things roll off, you know? It's just, I can't imagine being that upset over my Honda, but it's like that old story. I think it was a story that you told about telling the guy to grow up that drove by in like a neon, and
I remember that
him off or something.
Yeah, because he had a Scion TC, and he like spun his tires.
And that's
I think it was right in front of Basin Street, Kutztown. Like, that's your freaking rebadged Toyota Corolla. Dumb. Yeah, I know a Scion TC and Toyota Corolla aren't the same car. They're similar enough for my patience.
Yeah.
Well,
so
that's what I've been up to. That's what you've been up to. So
might as well get into the super chats.
Yeah. Okay. And we start off with a doozy. Henry, thoughts on UFC 229 and the controversy with Khabib and McGregor post-fight brawl. Okay. Conor strikes to the root of every single fighter's insecurities, only this time he found someone who is willing to do something about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. We were talking off mic of, I think Khabib, well, first off, like, and I tweeted this immediately after the fight of Brendan Schaub called that shit. Schaub,
he did.
He's like, I'm not going to be there because the Irish and the Russians are going to get into it.
How about Brendan Schaub like calling it? And then like did you see the either Twitter video or Instagram video that they just made a bit about that? Him with one of those electric globes, and he puts on a fortune teller, and it turns out, like, editor's note, by the time this went up, this came true. Like, he's a solid, like, 80% of everything he calls is real.
Yeah, I mean, he just is very keyed into what people are likely to do in those types of situations. But, like, he knew well enough about the bad blood between Conor and Khabib there from the whole Dolly incident on the bus, which I don't know how Conor was allowed to fight this year, much less ever again after that. Because, well, I mean, obviously it's because he makes them, seismic boatloads of money.
Yeah.
But also, Conor tried to do his sort of Mayweather thing of, I'm going to make like I genuinely hate you, and then once it's over, we're going to hug it out, and hopefully you'll understand that it was all just part of the show.
Yeah.
And Khabib doesn't play like that.
No.
Like, it's
Mayweather knows the score because he's been in the game for so long.
Yeah.
It's like, I get it. And first of all, if you're Mayweather, even if nothing could faze him, he's just going to go to bed in his house, his bed made out of money and house made out of the rest of the money.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's not so much about how long he's been in the game, but more about how long he's been in the game at a certain level.
Yeah.
Because Conor's been at that level where he's using his mouth to sell fights more than his ability. Whereas Khabib has been an ability guy.
Yeah.
A top-level world-class wrestler who is just unbeatable on the ground. Mm-hmm. And, it's one of those things where he had won the fight. He had finished it, but
it's not over.
It's not over because, and I know people call it a cultural thing that, you can't insult a man's manhood to that degree, coming off of, the previous topic we were talking about.
Right.
But I think it goes beyond cultural differences. I mean, that's not a way to act anywhere. Now, This is absolutely in no way defending Conor, because I thought Conor should have been like at least gotten a year suspension for the Dolly thing, because that was BS.
Was way worse than shit talking.
Yeah, he should have. And I know he's being sued for it now, so he is facing.
He cost other fighters money doing that.
Yeah, they should have been taken out of this payday, but because it's already going to be a top 5 all-time pay-per-view, which is kind of insane considering the relative lack of promotion for it. He didn't do the usual pressers and all.
Maybe
that
that's
stuff.
Maybe that's a bit of Khabib's post-fight, a bit of the post-fight source, in that Khabib didn't feel Conor was adequately reprimanded. Yeah,
he didn't, like, because Conor tapped before the rear naked was even all the way in. It looked more like his neck was getting cranked, in which case, if there's a minute and a half, 2 minutes left in the round, I get why you would tap, because once he gets that on, you're not getting out. But also, it's kind of, you're still amped up. I can't imagine the amount of adrenaline going through your system even after you win.
Right.
And Dana White is explaining, after this whole like riot thing breaks out, Khabib goes back into the cage and he's like, "Where's my belt? Where's my belt?" And that type of thing. And Dana's like, dude, I cannot put this belt on you right now because I'm afraid if I put this belt on you now, people are going to throw things into this cage and people are going to get hurt. So we just need you out of here. And he was thinking ahead, he's already said he's not stripping Khabib of the belt. And since his punishment from the commission is only 6 months, like he wasn't going to fight again for 6 months anyway, so he might as well just keep the belt. But a 6-month suspension for that is a joke because you're not losing money doing that. You know what I mean? Like, and he's already making probably 10 million from this fight alone. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, at some point there has to be, I guess UFC found themselves in a bind because they couldn't levy a harsher punishment on Khabib for this than they did for Conor for the Dolly incident, which basically was nothing. And so, if they give Conor a slap on the wrist, they got to give Khabib a slap on the wrist, which plays into the whole hypocrisy thing of like these guys who are the big draws are being held to a way different standard than everyone else. Because Paul Daly got cut from the UFC for hitting Josh Koscheck after the bell, and he's been banned for life. Whereas either one of these guys did worse things because they were putting, innocent people in danger. That's
true, man.
And so, I mean, it's a hypocrisy thing. You can't say that everybody's judged fairly when you do that type of thing. Like John Jones, like the State Athletic Commission giving John Jones as, basically time served, which is ridiculous to me. But hey, we got to get that Lesnar fight in, it's like, right. And I mean, it's gonna do stupid business, but at the risk of, and I know people want it sooner rather than later, but I feel like that fight's still going to be there. Like, yes, Jones has shit away his prime, just getting suspension after a suspension, but at some point you have to realize that some people are just never going to change. Yeah. And so, and McGregor, he's always humble in defeat. That's the thing that I always notice about him. Mm-hmm. But also, he's someone who's always working. Like, he's always working people. And so he went on Twitter and said, good knock, looking forward to the rematch. And I keep thinking, like, even though it did insane amounts of money, you're not getting that rematch because that was one of the most one-sided fights that I've seen out of, like, Conor McGregor just got completely outclassed. Now, and I say that as someone who liked him a lot, likes Conor a lot, and even though I find him hard to root for,
I was rooting for Khabib.
It's just because you want to see the mouth like stopped.
I do. Like, okay, like I default usually to the underdog,
which is funny because Vegas odds had Conor as the underdog because Khabib's undefeated and is just. Like, no one is going to defeat this man. Like, I don't see how it's possible. His wrestling game is far too strong. Yeah. It would need to be another guy who's as strong of a wrestler. But, yeah, I think one of those things, it's that vicarious satisfaction, kind of like what people got out of seeing Nate Diaz choke him out. Yeah. Of, like, he talked the biggest, like, he just ran his mouth, and then eventually he just, got choked out on the ground, and that was it. And Conor was humble in defeat, but it's still one of those things where, it's why Floyd Mayweather made money, because people wanted to see him shut up, and then it just never happened. So yeah, but that's kind of like where I'm at with this thing of
hell of an answer.
Yeah.
Grimy Emu. Hey guys, could you make a video of you guys washing your cars? I don't know how interesting that would be. I think it'd be a fun video idea.
Keep up the good work. Cheers.
You wouldn't like it because I wash my cars very quickly, and I vacuum them out, and that's kind of it. I don't go heavy in details because even the Falcon has rust on it, so it's just preventative maintenance and waxing that vehicle. And I mean, I have a number of things I do, like using tire black on the unpainted plastic bits on my Forester, and then it would be a wash of internet comments saying how I'm doing it wrong. Yeah. So that's what the video would be. But thank you for your question, and thank you for your donation.
What you should do is just get the tripod, set up the camera stationary while you're cleaning your car, and then next time you make a vaporwave video, just have that running in slow motion in the background as you put the filters over everything.
I made a vaporwave track for myself, and I've been playing it every day. And we got to go to the new ones up here. There they are. Grimy email. There it is.
And that's
I have to, since we've gone to these questions, I need to make the main chat a bit smaller. And I have to expand this.
I'm going to take me a powerful leak.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm wearing this. It's from the Christmas party. I found it in my trunk. I think I just said that already.
Yeah. Burgundy Burnout says, of course, streaming while I'm on my hour-and-a-half commute every single time. Life of a trucker, but thank you so much for your donation, Burgundy Burnouts. Hopefully you can listen to it later on iTunes. Safe drive and keep all them wheels on the ground. Shades of Cascades. Thank you for your donation, sir. I'm learning to wrench on my 2011 Impreza. I've got a Hayes manual, a solid socket set, and a floor jack with stands. Anything else I might need? Torque wrench! Those'll save you. Torque wrench is going to be about $100 for a nice digital one you can buy at Lowe's or Home Depot. And that way you'd never really have to guess when you're tightening things such as, intake bolts or even wheel nuts if you really want to be meticulous about tightening wheels to 95 or 100 foot-pounds. I do 95. Other people do 100 foot-pounds. But it's good to know, those things vibrate and then beep, so you know all your lug nuts are tight. And if you don't want to do that, electric impact guns, if you don't have an air supply, they're $45 at Harbor Freight. I have a Harbor Freight impact gun. I don't even have impact sockets. I just use my regular ones because they're not that strong. And the impact gun, I mean. And those are good too. If you're just doing basic stuff, I'd probably go with the electric impact gun. Workforce 520 says, did you appreciate my Pacifica Twitter rant? I did. Nick said that his mom was thinking about a Pacifica, and, no. Don't go anywhere near Fiat Chrysler of America these days. What did I say about Fiat Chrysler of America? Fiat Chrysler of America is like a mom and pop shop, but mom and pop are getting a divorce and you wonder why the food sucks. Nemo, thank you for your donation, sir. I want a vehicle that can tow a fishing boat, which I'm guess is like a bass boat, something light. But I'm way too dumb to buy an F-150 Silverado Ram. What should I get? I'm thinking about a Lexus GX or a Mercedes ML. I think you could get away, if you're just towing a fishing boat, you could get away really with like a RAV4. I think some of those have tow hitches, like a newer one. You could get away with... you could get away with a small SUV, even a Ford Escape size something. Because, fishing, I'm assuming it's something with a little troller motor on it, and no outboard motor, or even if you do, it's not a big one, because that's where I think where your head is at. A tiny fishing boat you don't really need a pickup truck for. Henry Lou 91, thank you for your donation, sir. Sadly, I just moved away from Austin, so I can't make the meet. Have a Torchy's taco on me. Question: ever had an owner upset about your review?
The Alfa Romeo guy from the UK was mad about it.
He was?
I think he went into the subreddit thread about it. Because it was like a negative review, basically. Uh-huh. And then, I don't know, he just seemed kind of...
I'm sorry, he...
I mean...
Had I known you would feel that way about his car, like I would have made a kinder review so I wouldn't have hurt his feelings.
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of the thing of, if you're going to be on the show, you kind of have to, by the same logic that like we need to have tougher skin to be on a public platform.
Yeah.
Anyone who comes on the show sort of needs to understand that I'm not going to say anything is fair game, but that like there is a possibility that we're not going to say anything that flat. Or like this isn't. You don't come on RCR to have a glowing thing said about your car necessarily. And if something glowing is said about your car, then great. But it's not necessarily what you like. You don't get to dictate. Not that he was trying. I don't know. I guess I'm just going circular.
Mm-hmm.
It's just hard to really come to a point where you can satisfy everybody. Like it's just impossible.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Workforce 520. We answered this question earlier about the Acadia. Jared Chevel says thoughts on a 5.0 swap for a Ford Explorer Sport Track. I have a 4-liter V6 right now. And a Windsor small block bolts right in, worth it. It's going to be easier, yeah, if all the engine mounts line up.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, wherever Windsor blocks fit, LS's fit. Oh, I'm not going to do an LS. I'm not going to do an LS. Yeah, but... All right. You get a more modern engine. You get coils instead of a distributor. You get instantly more power.
It's like...
You're gonna... Yeah, I know. Okay. Even with a 5.0, it's... I guess the 5.0 would come with an ECU, but you're still going to have to rewire the darn thing. If you're going that far for an engine swap, okay, all right, I understand. Maybe the 4-liter V6 and the 5.0 have the same bolt pattern, so it's going to mount up to the same transmission. And if that's the case, if the bolt pattern's the same, and you can mount the engine to the same transmission, fine. And the transmission can take the higher torque from the 5.0, then fine. Do that. But if you're gonna change the transmission as well, and you can fit a 4L, well, if you can fit a 4L80 in that transmission tunnel, is the world's your oyster. But if you don't, then maybe you could do a 4L60 and do a 4.8 LS. You'd be fine, like a naturally aspirated one. But if you want to be a purist, I guess do the 5.0. The thing is, if you're going to swap the engine to get more power, why not have way more power for less money? That's the LS argument. And those are my thoughts. Workforce 520. The Sienna and holes in the floor. I'm gonna have to go get a scissors because there's See, now that I'm lifting weights, I'm getting those calluses on my hands. So I'm like picking at them.
Yeah. You wouldn't happen to have a Band-Aid, would you?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Is that bleeding again?
Yeah, because
hell.
No, because I put pressure on it by accident because I was like undoing my belt, and I guess the pressure from it. Huh.
I want to make one more dab with this and just see if I can get this thing to stop bleeding. Where is the cut itself?
Oh, it's right here. Like.
Oh, you sliced it good.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Oh, wow. All right, I'm going to lay it on thick. This may hurt.
Sure.
In fact, I know it's going to hurt.
I mean, I don't really feel anything from it, even though it's supposedly a wound. But, thank you.
Oh, you got to dribble.
Oh,
hold your, dab that.
Dab.
For those of you who are listening on the radio, just the audio, I am blowing on Nick's thumb, making the liquid bandage dry.
Yes.
Is it done yet? No.
Anyone coming in now is gonna have so many questions.
And if you don't, and if this doesn't work, I have some bandages that are made for your fingertips. I have those. In fact, let me give you one.
Very nice. Sorry, excuse me. I hope I'm not coming down with something. I really hope it's just stuff flying up my nose. Thank you.
Answer a question, I gotta take.
Oh, sure. All right, so let's see. Love you guys. What do you think of the Volkswagen Inline 5? I don't know if we've already gotten to that or not, because it might have been while I was in the bathroom, but I don't have a problem with it. I don't really think it's necessarily a car that's going to set the world on fire. Yeah. My thing with Volkswagens is that, like, yeah, okay, they're reliable enough to a point, but I don't know that I'm necessarily... Oh, God, I think I am coming down with something. Sorry. Great, just in time for Austin. But yeah, that I don't necessarily feel like an inline 5... It's weird. It's an open-ended question in a weird way, because... there's so many sort of...
Blood on my toilet.
Is there? Oh, sorry. I must have dripped without realizing it. Apologies. But, I don't know. Inline 5s are... I'm losing my mind here. Sorry. Oh, I think it's the lights and the fact that I have an inherently greasy face. I'm sure this is making great audio for anyone listening on iTunes or any of the other podcasting places where you get this from, but... I mean, my thing with Volkswagens is there's nothing inherently wrong with them, but I don't find them to be spectacular, even though I didn't have the negative feeling about the Jetta that Brian does, because I kind of grew up in one, and it felt, I don't know, there's always this familiarity, you know, to a Jetta, to any Volkswagen, you know, Beetle, a bus. It's all very familiar. And so ultimately, you know, an inline 5 Volkswagen, fine. Like, it has a million applications if you want it to be your daily driver. Well, okay, not a million applications, but it will make a suitable daily. And it's something that, depending on how well you take care of it, it's not something you ever have to be embarrassed about driving. I think you shouldn't have to be embarrassed about any car that you drive. You know, you shouldn't let people make you feel embarrassed about what you drive. It's very easy that, you know, it's very easy for people to minimize what it is you enjoy to the point that you don't enjoy it anymore. So you can't allow people to really do that to you, I guess. But, yeah, I guess that's my answer to that question in a very roundabout way, because I talk in circles. But yeah, it's adhering pretty well. So, yeah. The
what one did you answer?
The Volkswagen Inline 5 one.
Justin R. Thank you for $5.49 Canadian. No question, but I adore your donation. Lucas Draw said, do either of you have tattoos? No. Unless you got one while you were away.
No, I actually, for like a year, was planning on getting a tattoo and just never found the right time. And it was just going to be like somewhere where people wouldn't necessarily notice it, like maybe on around here.
You want some of this?
Oh, what is it?
It's a brownie from 419.
I'm all right.
All right.
Thanks for the offer, though.
After I talked about health stuff, because like I had the townie at 419, and I'm like, I would like maybe a little bit of pastry. I think I've earned it.
Yeah.
So I get this brownie, and it's like triple. What was that noise?
Sounds like my computer. Shit, it is my computer. You're supposed to be asleep.
Nick's computer is on in his backpack and is telling him things.
Yeah, I brought it with so that I could get the password to sign back into the Shout engine to post the podcast after we're done. I don't know why. It's closed. It should be out. I can only imagine that it's probably dying or something. But yeah, I was planning on getting a tattoo that was just going to be the initials of my niece and 2 nephews.
Oh, you're pointing to the area underneath the arm where it's super painful to get it?
Yeah, apparently. I mean, I just want it to be somewhere where like I don't look like I have any tattoos, and I'm not really taking off my shirt for anybody. Although I say that, and I do post the occasional like progress selfie in the gym.
And congratulations on your progress.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, it's weird because when I put on my New York Comic Con costume, and I ordered this jacket for the character of Connor from Detroit Become Human, and I realized it was way, way too big. And I got it in a large, and I'm like, I can't go any smaller than this, or else I'm gonna like just look like I'm busting it out like the Incredible Hulk transformation. And it's strange to be walking around in something with that much heft to it and realizing that, holy shit, I'm wearing something that's way too big for me. But it's the size that I've been wearing for the past like decade. Yeah. And so it's nice. Like, this is a medium shirt. Now, granted, it's stretchy material. I keep thinking I spilled something and I realize it's just a shadow from the mic. But it's one of those things that I go to the gym. I hate doing cardio. Like, I'm the exact opposite of you. I hate cardio. I like doing the lifts and all that other stuff. But it's something that I force myself to do anyway, because it's the one way to do a workout where as soon as you're done, you immediately feel like you've had a workout. Like, swimming is kind of the same way for me. Like, I wish I could just join a gym that had a pool, or like if there were a YMCA around somewhere. I mean, I'm sure there is, but you know, I don't know.
The thing with me and what I'm learning about weights after like my first week of doing nothing but weights and machines is that I don't feel like I'll be at the gym for 40 minutes and I don't feel like I've done any work because I haven't reached that drench cardio sweat yet. I'm like, well, my arms kind of hurt and they're tired and I don't want to lift weights anymore because my arms are tired. And that's my feeling. Like, I guess I'm done.
So, like, but you don't feel like you've built up enough, like, lactic acid or anything.
No, like, I am not drenched in sweat, and I'm not breathing heavy.
Yeah.
So I feel weird.
But your body is getting a workout, and that's the thing of, like, it doesn't feel like it. I mean, when I was walking around New York...
Sorry for hitting the mic with my fork.
I don't think I've ever been as exhausted as I was walking around New York City this past week, because I had to walk from the Jacob Javits Center, which is on like 34th Street, to a hotel that is on 45th Street, but on the 45 block. And I was starting at the 500 block.
Yeah.
So I had to walk from the 500 block all the way down to, you know, the number 45. And then realizing, shit, I didn't eat anything. Let me order out. Okay, I guess I'll go to Shake Shack, but let me just not have any buns on it because it's the nearest thing.
Okay.
And that's a thing of like figuring out ways when you're out to kind of eat better than you do. Like when we go to Austin, I'm going to try to eat like a saint, because when we went to Chicago, I spent the last day like dying in the hotel room. So I'm just kind of trying.
After nothing but dough and cheese. That was the Chicago deep dish pizza.
Yeah, it was an amazing deep dish pizza. But if I could do it all over again, I'd just be like, pass. Like, I'm sure it's a great experience, but let me not do this because...
I didn't feel great either.
Yeah. It's just so much of it. It almost felt like it was sitting in there incapable of being digested.
It felt like eating 2 slices of Chicago deep dish felt like war crimes.
It's like, I don't know. It's almost like you have Oogie Boogie from The Nightmare Before Christmas just sitting in your digestive system, wreaking havoc and not being digested. It was strange. And yeah, it's all the cheese, the dairy that is going to mess you up. Yeah, because I was just... It was from both sides, and it was a mess. And I don't know. So I spent most of that afternoon while you guys were filming the Stealth, I believe it was, that I was just getting sick, going to the bathroom, and then spending north of like 20 minutes at a time, like just cleaning up, you know, because of the vomit. Like, because it doesn't all go in, you know, splash. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah. So Austin, I'm just going to stick to cleaner eating. But it's hard when you're traveling because you want to experience the local cuisine.
Austin or Austin and San Marcos, it's going to be a lot of Mexican food. So it's going to be like we have some legit Mexican restaurants in, Redding and Kutztown. And when I went out, it was like, okay. Like, and, well, like eating healthy at Mexican places, it's like, well, I guess there's some low carb options.
Well, yeah. I mean, a lot of
fish, there's fish meals.
Depends.
Unless you don't do fish.
No, I do fish. I just can't do shellfish because I'm allergic. But a lot of pro wrestlers will eat at Chipotle of all places because they view it as one of the few fast food places where you can kind of do relatively clean eating in the sense that,
Matt Happel and I went there after I hung out at the Dino for a while. And at Chipotle, you can get the burrito bowl.
Yeah.
Which is everything that would be in a burrito without the burrito.
Yeah.
So what are you eating? You're eating rice, beans, lettuce, and whatever meat.
Yeah.
In a bowl.
And the good thing is, and this is kind of like a secret menu thing, but not really a secret menu thing, is you can get extra rice. Like if you don't, and they don't charge you for it. The only thing that they charge you for extra of is meat and guac.
Like Matt was telling me that there was like this meme that I know that passed me by, but it's someone, I think it was a meme about Chipotle, and I forget what the character was, but it was, the text was, "Bitch, I know guac is extra."
Yeah. And they stopped saying it now, or at least the last time I went to Chipotle, which actually was,
they told me guac was extra, and I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, I don't even care at this point, but it's something, you can tell.
She was generous with it.
Yeah,
she was generous, like the amount of guac I got was the amount of mashed potatoes you get that is served in an ice cream scoop in a high school cafeteria. It's like, all right. I actually kind of think like this is more fat than I care to eat, even if I am lifting weights.
True, but like if I feel like I have to, like if I have no other option of where to eat out, I feel less guilty if it's Chipotle because the things don't cost extra, like the rice, you can just load it up with veggies and all that other stuff, and you're not being charged extra for
it. We're not going to eat fast food when we're freaking Austin.
Yeah, like, too many good options.
We're not, like, we're going to be in San Marcos more than we're going to be in Austin, so I really want to go to Voodoo Donuts just to say I went there.
Yeah.
That would be if the closest thing I had to a cheat day. I mean, we're going to be eating breakfast at the hotel, and for me, it's just going to be eggs and sausage and fruit.
I hope they have hard-boiled eggs.
Hope they do. It's a Hilton chain, so they probably have the generic Hilton breakfast, which varies in price but never in quality.
No, it's a uniform experience, no matter where you are in the world.
Yeah, those hard-boiled eggs will be fine. Hard-boiled eggs and like oatmeal and fruit.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
No, just a nice protein breakfast. Get some fiber in there.
We're going to be out there on the track all day. I mean, hopefully the guys from On It who are helping us out will have some protein bars from their food truck. Because the only thing to eat at Harris Hill Raceway is a vending machine. So maybe we'll have to sneak some food out, out
stop
of
at
the
a
hotel.
Walgreens and buy like a box of.
There's nothing in between the hotel and the track, so there isn't even a legit gas station between. There's like a Valero gas station is the only one around.
Hot damn.
Yeah. So it may be a case of a big breakfast and just hydrate your way through, and
gonna have to get lobby coffee for the ride over. Eric Pedersen, remember that Hilton we stayed at in San Fran? That was a cool hotel. Hell yeah, it was a cool hotel.
that was Embassy Suites.
Yeah,
that was choice. Let's get back to these super chat questions.
Yes, indeed.
Iced Ink says, turns out keto diet hurts alcohol tolerance. I imagine it would. You know, carbs is what slows the absorption of alcohol. I had 1.5 Tom Collinses last night, and all I can recall is a Snapchat story my sister took of me ranting about Jeep's product placement in Far Cry 2. Yeah.
What is a Tom? Is that like grenadine and I want to say some kind of...
What is that, Tom Collins? I thought a Tom Collins was an Arnold Palmer with vodka in it.
Maybe. I really feel like there's soda in it somewhere in a Tom Collins, but I don't know.
Tom Collins appeared a few times in Archer. Like they were drinking Tom Collins.
I always feel like that's one of those last resort drinks of, all right, you don't have anything else. We have enough to make a Tom Collins. All right, yeah, well, give me a Tom Collins then. Someone in the comments will know what a Tom Collins is, I'm sure.
Regular chat question from Josh Warsaw says, do you eat much ground turkey? Huge part of my protein intake. Yes, and I'm eating turkey after this. Ground turkey, mushrooms, and mixed vegetables.
Very nice.
After I just ate a brownie.
There was another regular chat question that I wanted to quickly answer.
Okay, and then we'll get to Eric Pedersen's.
Yeah, thoughts on AMC, which I kind of think it's something that could potentially make a good RCR story. My thing is like my Summit car, I suppose, is that Eagle that my mom had when I was a kid, and I've always wanted to get around to it. And it's the type of car that's very much of its era that you can't really recreate now. And I'm trying to think of like what the closest modern comparison to Collins is gin, lemon, club soda, and simple syrup, sugar.
Oh, so it's like a sweeter gin, and it's like you get gin, no tonic, but it's just gin and club soda, which don't complement each other, and then you add lemon and sweeten the lemon up with sugar. All right. I mean, I can see how you can make a Tom Collins if all you have is gin, club soda, and stuff from your pantry. Because you can make, if you have sugar, you can make simple sugar, simple syrup. You just dissolve the sugar in water. Yeah, and then there you go.
I think a Roy Rogers is the thing that has grenadine in it, but I don't know why. But
Eric Pedersen says, remember when we drove my parents' Honda to Mammoth? Yeah, I do. And we put, even though it wasn't the all-wheel drive one, we put on snow tires, drove for a little bit. And I'm like, this is dumb. Took the snow tires off and just said we had an all-wheel drive car, because who the heck would question us? We're in a Honda Pilot. Yeah. Car was great. Definitely recommend a Honda Pilot. That thing has 200,000 miles on it, and it hasn't had any problems. Nice.
Very nice.
So yeah, add that to the roster. According to Eric Pedersen, take care of it, has no problems. Justin R., thank you for your Canadian money. Look for a Saturn Vue with a Honda J35 and a V6 and all-wheel drive. Huh? So a Saturn Vue has a Honda engine in it?
Huh.
I thought they were whatever GM had. It's news to me. Thank you for your donation, Justin R. Will Robinson says, what were your impressions of the Northwest when you visited? Yeah, we were in Portland, Oregon a few years ago. Any particular differences you noticed between Pennsylvania in terms of the people, etc.? It was perpetually autumn, and I loved that. The traffic resembled the Schuylkill Expressway in that the terrain limited the amount of ability for the roads to be expanded, so traffic snarled every single day. But unlike Philadelphia, everybody was cooler than me and knew it. And the bicycle commuters were unbelievably aggressive.
Yeah, bicyclists own the road was going to be my take on the Northwest.
Yeah.
More or less, it's like you think that you have a certain amount of room, but however much room you think you have, open up more room, because otherwise the bicyclists are going to take it. And then, all of a sudden it's... Okay, this is going to be a stupid question from someone like me, but what's the protocol if, say, your side mirror gets taken out by a bicyclist? Like, you're not taking down their insurance information, are you? It's like, hey, dude, you knocked out my side mirror.
Yeah.
Like, what do we do about this to make it right?
I think, in my mind, a bicycling commuters haven't been hit would flop on the ground like a Russian dash cam video and claim to get run over. See, we don't have bicycling commuters around here. I mean, maybe we'll have one or two that's super weird, but mostly no, because it gets way too cold in the wintertime.
To Jonas Granados, do a Toyota Celica Supra Mark II 1985 review. Hey, if we're offered one, then, and it's reasonable, that's always going to be the answer to questions of do blank.
Yeah.
Is send it to the email, regularcars@gmail.com, year, make, and model, and city in the headline. Or byline, whatever. And then if we can do it, we'll do it. But we can't do anything we're not offered. So, yeah.
Crazy Ivan ×2. Good evening, guys. And thank you for your donation, Ivan. Looking for my first motorcycle. Honda Rebel. My daily drive is a Jeep JK. Looking for a dual sport. I am you're 6'1", 300 pounds. I have short legs. Thanks for the help. Okay. So you're all torso and upper body, and you're taller than me. So you need a low motorcycle, because we're going to be talking about your inseam. Crazy Ivan, answer us in the regular chat as we figure this out. What's the length of your pant? What's your pant size? Like for me, my pant size is 34-30. I have shorter legs. We have the same
pant size.
Really?
I mean, I've been 34-30 since long before I've been able to pull it off, but it's such a pain in the ass to find that size.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
So my legs are a bit on the shorter side because my dad had short legs for a guy who's 5'10". With a 30-inch pant leg, you can flat foot. I can flat foot a Honda African Twin, which is a fantastic motorcycle, also very expensive. But I wouldn't recommend it as a first bike. I think your first bike has to be one that you can buy and then dump in the river and you won't cry. Because your first bike is going to get dropped. In fact, my bike that I bought, I dropped yesterday or the day before in the driveway. It's never like what broke is the clutch. Okay. I dropped my bicycle. I'll get back to your question. I dropped my bicycle I put the kickstand down on an uneven part of the driveway, walked away, rolled forward and fell on its side. So, what it did is it made surface scratches on one of the side cases. It pushed one of the turn signals into the fairing, scratched it up. One of the mirrors got scratched, and the tip of the clutch lever broke off. This is a bike that's never been dropped, and I'm the first one to drop it. Damn it. And I saw it happening in then slow motion, but I couldn't catch it. So, buffering? Panic?
F. Well, F is usually a bad sign because they press F to pay respects.
It's back. They refreshed it. Okay.
All right, cool.
So, I have scratches on a bit of the engine case, and I just ordered from Bike Bandit, which is the Amazon.com for bike parts, a $62... it cost me $62 for one part, which is a new clutch lever. I can still ride the bike, but you see, clutch levers the tips are made to break off. So they break off at the end instead of breaking off at the hinge. So in the event you drop it, you can still ride home. If you looked at it, it's only an inch got broken off from the end of this handle. And, whatever. Some people never repair them. They're whatever, they're broken off. Yeah. Or they replace them with $20 cheap Amazon or eBay stuff. So, but I was able to just pop the turn signal back in and buff out some of the scratches with Meguiar's Plasti X. And I think what I'm going to do is employ the Japanese philosophy of wabi-sabi. And Mighty Car Mods did a little bit of this. So I have these scratches now on the engine case. They're only superficial, the white part of my thumbnail. The scratches only go half of this distance into the aluminum. So it's there's not damage. But they're super, if I look at it, they look up, yep, you dropped this bike. Wow. So I may just paint the scratches bright red to fill them in or see, it's the engine is made out of aluminum, so it's not going to rust.
Yeah.
All it did was scratch away some of the paint and a little bit of the metal. All it will do is form a layer of aluminum oxide over top. So I can paint in the scratches, but paint them in as a brighter color. You just say, yeah, I dropped it, so what?
Yeah. I mean, is there a bike on the face of the planet that hasn't been dropped before?
Yeah, well, they spent on a long enough timeline. Yeah. You're gonna drop this bike.
Yeah,
you're gonna think you put the kickstand down and you didn't. So get over yourself, fucker. Anyway, a dual sport. In fact, I wasn't even looking at the regular channel. Did Crazy Ivan respond?
Crazy Ivan, where'd you go?
Oh, he 25-inch waist, 26-inch pant leg. Wow. How are you 300 pounds with a 25-inch waist?
That's impossible.
Are you like a power lifter that just curls? Like, how big are your arms?
Is that why you're crazy, Ivan?
25-inch waist. 6'1", 25-inch waist.
Damn.
Like, where's that 300 pounds coming from? Because even if it's all core, you're going to have it's not where your hips are. It's 25-inch waist. Okay, well, let's go that your legs are shorter than mine. I'm going to recommend a Honda Shadow 1100. At this point, we need a lower motorcycle. They're super cheap. You can probably buy one for $2,000 if it's old enough. Honda Shadow 1100. That's a cruiser. It'll be easy on the throttle. I'll be right. Yeah. What were your impression of Northwest? Got that one. Motorcycles. Dominic Houston. And it's 9 o'clock, so I'm going to get the sign.
Noise. Dr. Regular and King Roman. Ooh, a king. Nice. Are we going to see any overlanding and or off-road vehicles featured in the near future? As far as I'm aware of, I generally don't know the itinerary, but I kind of like not to. I mean, honestly, I don't really... Like, I know what we're doing in Austin because he's shown me the itinerary, but I don't remember what we're doing in Austin because I didn't commit it to memory. So I can't really answer that question. But again, it's anything that we're offered that is reasonable in that we're not, driving 4 hours to go do it. Or the person isn't driving 4 hours to come meet us. Although, some people don't mind, so it is what it is. But ultimately, I think it's all about logistics and practicality of doing car X.
Love the M32A2 video, says Jeff V. Thank you for your donation. The last few videos have been really good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, thanks. Thanks for liking the show. Billy Fediger. He has no question, but thank you for your donation. Very cool. Hourly B. Hey guys, I was wondering if you guys heard that William Dunlop passed away from an accident at the
Scaries 100.
Scaries 100. Any opinion on Donut Media?
Well, I heard about William Dunlop when it happened, and I made a brief post about it on Twitter, sort of offering up my condolences to his family, because that family's been through a lot. Because I covered them extensively in the Isle of Man TT video, and it almost feels like they're the Kennedys of motorsports, in a way, in that tragedy seems to follow them for better or worse. Well, I mean, obviously for worse, never for better, but... yeah, it was a sad situation, but what can you do? I think a lot of the people who do this do it with the understanding that it could be the last thing they do. Now, granted, everyone's preference is not to die, but it's difficult when you're facing something as daunting as a race like the Scaries 100. So, and I think in a way motorcycles are almost more volatile in racing scenarios than your average car, as far as motorsports in general go. But I suppose that's up for debate. But
I guess so.
Yeah.
And my opinions on Donut Media, I met one of the guys from Donut Media when I was doing the Kia Forte review, which my article is almost completed. I just have to type it and finish writing it. Because there's no deadline on this, it's not done.
Yeah.
And I was just looking at it earlier in the podcast, and I see that the words face fuck food appear in my notes, and there's no explanation what this means. Face fuck food.
Don't you hate that when that happens, when you think you maybe it's late at night and you come up with like a really good line, so you just write a little note that's like shorthand for that really great line, knowing that future you is going to remember, because of course you will.
Yeah.
And then you look at it and you're like, what the shit was I talking about?
And what do I think? I think Donut Media is they're a well, I'm a company, but you can hear me exhaling.
Yeah, of trying to.
I think it's a small studio whose mission is to work the algorithm like a boss, and they're doing exactly that. The one person I met from Donut Media was super cool. We hung out and drank in Pittsburgh. But I am like a lot of YouTubers, I compare against Matt Farah, Fred from Down the Rabbit Hole, and AVE, and Techmoan. Usually single operation guys who put research, video quality, audio quality, and editing, and humanist content above all else. If your game is to make money, more power to you. I hope you make a lot. But there's always that but, isn't there?
Yeah. I mean, it's easy enough to do.
Like, if you want to make cheddar, go ahead, do it.
Yeah, there's any number of weird channels that are inexplicably popular. Like any of those like action figure channels that act out stories with like Spider-Man and Elsa from Frozen.
Yeah. And
they get like 14 million views or something, and it doesn't make any sense, but it's because children pretty much live on YouTube. Like YouTube is their TV. Yeah. Or it's their cable television. Yeah. I remember I dropped my nephew off at his house after New York Comic-Con after we got back home, and I went to help him take all his stuff in, like his costume and all that stuff, but he didn't have his PlayStation there because it's at his dad's, and I'm like, well, you could just watch TV, because it wasn't his bedtime yet, but everybody else was asleep because his mom works like weird hours, and he's like, yeah, but I don't really want to watch normal TV. Like, he wanted to watch YouTube and or YouTube and Netflix.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
What do I gotta watch? What you want me to watch? TV?
Yeah. It's like, I can watch whatever. The Ireland Boys just put out a new video. Yeah. But yeah, it's just strange how that kind of changes, and that's their TV now, and that we're kind of on their TV. Like, to my knowledge, he doesn't watch regular cars. In a way, like, I don't...
Doesn't have to.
Yeah, no, I know. But, like, I don't think I necessarily care if he does or doesn't, because it's a thing, like, he likes cars. So he can watch his uncle do things with cars, or, you know, write about cars. But it's also, he has the freedom to not do that and to just watch whatever. That's the great thing about YouTube.
Riley Livingston says 2007 Lexus ES350. Did we do an ES350? I think we did.
That's a good question. I don't remember offhand.
Love you guys. Lexus ES350.
Official car of...
I think they're rear-wheel drive cars. I think we pretty much did it. It's like, you know, I want a Skyline, but I can't afford that. Can't afford a Z car. Can't afford a Supra. Well, I'll get this, I guess. Lexus ES350. At least it's not an Acura. Oh, what's that cheap Acura that's really an Accord? Not a Legend. Acura EX or something like that. 2000 Lexus ES350. I finally own a luxury sports sedan. Okay, the Lexus ES350 was the last one. Doing a F5. I noticed a lot in videos I pick my nose. Or I move my nose, or I get my fingers in my nose like this and I'm wiping it a lot. It's not that my nose is running. It's that my nose hairs are really long and they're bothering me, and I have to shove that trimmer up there again.
Yeah, the whole magic touch or whatever.
Okay, we got the William Dunlop. Derek Mayorkic. I have a little extra money. Thought I'd share some wealth. Thank you so much.
Thank
for
you.
Canucky Stan money. Thank you so much, sir. Charlie Boy Games 98. Thank you for your donations. Non-WRX manual Impreza, the official car of someone with taste. I love me a non-turbo Subaru, and I own one. It's like, look, I only want, you have a WRX, you're going to be putting 93 into it. I want the same feeling, maybe a little less power, and I'm putting cheap gas in. And honestly, I think you get more mileage out of that. So I'm fine with, I love them. I even like the new ones. So I think they're fantastic. Thank you for your donation, Charlie boy. Keenan McCullum says, doing a $1,000 2,000 mile shitbox challenge around the Great Lakes. Something fun and not obvious. Civic S10 or taken. I like the Festiva. Any ideas or thoughts? Love the channel. Well, $1,000 cars, when you're buying the $1,000 car, you're not buying a make and model. You're buying the owner. You want the best $1,000 car you can. And a well-kept second-gen Neon is going to be a lot better than a shitbox Honda. That's what you have to find. You have to find the wealthy family who are just getting rid of a daily. Just get it out of the driveway. And you're probably getting some really nice Taurus for $1,000. You're buying the best maintained car you can get, irrespective of make and model.
Yeah.
That's what the $1,000 car is. So when you buy the $1,000 car, what you do is you go on Craigslist, you click the box that says has picture, maximum price $1,000, minimum price $800. Yeah. And then you just start looking. And you look for the car that's in a driveway, not on the street. You look for the car that's photographed correctly. You tend to avoid ones where people can't even be bothered to put a rag over the license plate. They put the thumb in the picture. That's out. Those people don't care. And then you start... And then you talk to the people on the phone, and if they sound like a dumbass... You don't go look at their car.
Yeah.
When you buy a car, you talk on the phone. You don't just text, because texting hides your dumb voice.
Yeah.
You want to talk to the person, and then you want to listen what's going on in the background. This is stuff that doesn't cost you money. You listen to hear if there's babies crying or chaos in the background or some horrible trash TV going on in the background. Or how happy, like you want a pleasant person. You don't want the, yeah, what do you want? And you don't get a car that just says, I'm wise to your tricks. I don't need help selling, serious inquiries only.
Yeah. Or the big one for me, and I don't know, is when you ask for an email address and they give it to you in the sort of military code, but not because they have to, but because that's just the choice they're making. My email address is Alpha Bravo Charlie, like that type of thing. Nothing wrong with it, I guess.
Oh, over the phone?
Over the phone.
Oh, they're speaking in a phonetic alphabet.
Yeah, which I get it.
I kind of do that sometimes.
No, but like...
Because there's a phonetic alphabet quick chart right by my desk over there.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's easier, I suppose, than having to say like A as in apple, you know, because you don't know that someone's...
B as in Bravo.
Yeah. But
F is in Foxtrot.
The thing is, I don't know that I would want to take like a $5,000 car out on some ripper on the Great Lakes, because that doesn't seem like the type of terrain where $1,000 car is going to be. Well, then again, I said that, and Smoking Tire Guys like the Toyota Tercel survived that entire thing. So you never know.
Christopher Conrad. I love the parking lot show running commentaries. Would you ever do one at a BHPH loose car? Like, what is that? Oh, buy here, pay here. Well, okay. That's on private property, owned by someone, and like that owner would have to be super into me, contacting me himself, saying, make fun of the cars I'm selling to make a living.
And then get it in writing that he okayed this.
Yeah. Yeah, so no, I wouldn't do a buy here, pay here.
Yeah.
Buy here or pay here is just a bunch of Chevy Malibus like your mom has. It's like, here is an car.
Yeah.
Burgundy Burnouts again. Hey, welcome back. I guess you got where you needed to be. I will put every engine but an LS in an 02 Firebird. Hell, a 3S GTE in the back of a Firebird would be more fun. Yeah, it would.
Mm-hmm.
Be interesting if you could put a 3S GTE longitudinally in the front. That'd be awesome. An engine that is meant to go sideways in straightways.
Yeah.
3S GTE. The more I drive those prime performance cars, prime driven cars, or just prime, is how good the 3S GTE is with a tune on it. Freaking 300 of the wheel, and those engines sing all day. Superior. JSB225, a familiar face. I'm driving to Austin in my Pontiac Solstice. See you there.
See you there.
See you there, JSB225. Pontiac Solstice. Von Waffensberg. Shout out to Burgundy Burnouts for being a fellow trucker. Currently coming into Vegas. Vegas, baby. Myself to haul 8,000 gallons of gas to California. Huh. There's no pipelines? Mm-hmm. I guess as he's dropping stuff off at gas stations. Well, people who haul have their reasons, and it's really not up to you what you haul, I guess.
Yeah.
8,000 gallons of gasoline. Well, it'll be lighter than water. That's for sure. Sean Brewer says, thoughts on swapping a Honda K-Series into Miata NB? It's fine. Naturally aspirated 220 wheel horsepower and 8,200 RPM run line with minor mods. Swap anything you want into a Miata and it's all correct, even a diesel engine. Because Miata NBs are cheap. Well, all Miatas are cheap. Yeah, fine. I like it. Tell me how it goes. Post pictures like Instagram or anything like that. I'm down.
Yeah.
Boris T.S. Carl of. Interesting. Thank you for a donation, Boris. Hey guys, first time checking you guys out live. So will you hear from me a few times through the night?
Oh, yeah, you will hear from me. And so love you guys. So I suppose we have heard from him in the comments. I recognize the name because he just subscribed to my personal channel, Limited Time Roman. So thank you for the subscription, Boris.
I can plug my own personal YouTube as well. It's just Mr. Regular, the YouTube channel. That's all it is. There's just 2 videos on it, and both of them are vaporwave based. Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. I did a vaporwave version, and I can't post it anywhere because it's nothing but copyright infringement. Yeah. But I made a vaporwave track of Rod Stewart's "Soul of the City."
Huh.
Do you remember that song?
No.
It's a song goes, you put the window... Yeah, I almost had to do Plinkett voice. But, bring over all your some of your old Motown records. You put the speakers in the window and the door, and something will listen to the miracles echo through the alley down below. The music video is insipid as hell. It's like a fat. It's one of those weird like half animated music videos, but then you can tell they ran out of budget for animation, so it's just Rod Stewart dancing in front of a blue screen of a drawn background. It's really weird.
God's honest,
the Motown song. Yeah, that's right. 540 Road Trips.
God's honest, I get Rod Stewart and Barry Manilow confused.
Really?
Yeah, it's a very strange mix-up to have happen. It's not like Dylan McDermott and Dermot Mulrooney.
Boris, okay, we got that one. Andrew Snyder.
Oh, we skipped Henry. Oh, wait, no, we didn't. Yeah, because there was another Boris. Yeah.
Andrew Snyder. Hey, love the show. Just bought my first car, a first-gen Scion TC with a 5-speed manual. Well done, sir. Thoughts on the Scion brand? Well, it was a failure because they figured out, they was like, we're going to build a millennial car. Oh, wait, millennials have no money.
Yeah.
And now Hyundai wants to make Kia into the millennial brand, and then they're going to find out millennials have no money, even though it's 10 years later.
Yeah.
So, I have yet to, like, the Scion TC was the first youth branded car made during my lifetime that has no balls. Like, is just an appearance package. And that was successful. I'm upset that it did well because I don't think it should have, because they're not quick. And even our one summer intern, Ben Wright, liked the Scion TC. But call me old man Brian because I don't get it. Maybe at that point I saw what the car was, mostly a Toyota Corolla, and was completely unimpressed. At the same time, when I finally get my hands on a first-gen Neon, I will sing it praises to the heavens. So maybe the context of Scion is lost to me.
Maybe. I mean, and I wonder if Ben even still counts as a millennial, or if he's not part of the generation that comes after it.
What is this generation that comes after millennial?
I don't know. It has a name.
Or?
It's
no,
something.
Wait, Zennial is what technically I may be.
Yeah.
I think I'm still tail end of Gen X because I was born in 81.
Yeah, you're Gen X. I'm a millennial.
Okay.
Because I think the cutoff point for Gen X was 81.
Okay.
So, and I think cutoff point for millennials 96. And if Ben Wright's like 20 or was 20, I don't know what he is now.
Okay.
Or was he 20? I don't even know any of these things. Generation Z. All right, so Gen Z.
Gen Z. A regular question says, I'm about to buy my first car. Should it be an MR2 Spider or an NB Miata? NB. Because you get a trunk. It has to be, I'm guessing it's going to be your only car, and it's going to be way cheaper. MR2 Spider is going to be hip as shit, but an NB Miata is going to be a car for longer. And believe me, an NB Miata will teach you more about driving than a Spider will. Get your Spider later when you... Anyway, I can go on about that. Boris says, here comes Mr. Regular and he has a boner. I'm surprised you can see it. He sprayed his white splooge all over the podcast and Roman watched with a smile.
I think this is when you were putting the liquid Band-Aid on me.
Oh,
which actually
okay.
Has adhered rather well.
Oh, good.
Yeah. No blood or anything.
Okay.
Good
cool.
times.
One of the things that I don't find good about the liquid bandage is there's no... Like a regular bandage, if you have it on and it's good and tight, you still have friction and can grip something. Like if you have to type or type or use a mouse, you can still grip with it. That stuff drives smooth. So, but it's the side of your thumb.
The side around it because it kind of feels like there's a thin film that's very not slippery, but you know.
Henry says, "Can I get a Pim's cup?" What's this mean?
In a Pim cup. Oh, it's a Burt Reynolds quote from, I think, Archer, because we brought up Archer briefly earlier. Let's see. Emilio Acuna Reyes. What do you guys think of Nashville? Well, I thought it should have been canceled when it was, and then they moved it to CMT. No, I'm being serious. There was a show called Nashville on ABC that they canceled. But no, I've always wanted to go to Nashville, but then I think about it and I'm like, what would I really do there? It's that type of thing. You know, like, yeah, it's kind of an awesome place by all accounts, but I don't know. Like, would I take in a show? Because live music is cool to me, but it's also one of those things where I'm sensitive to sound in a weird way. You know, I couldn't really go to big concerts, I suppose. They have a thriving car scene, though, don't they?
So we're about the Falcon.
Yeah, so, I mean, I could just go hit, like, all the cars and coffees that I can that we don't get around here because reasons.
Yeah. Go to Memphis and do meth instead, says Victor Behortle. Burgundy Burnout says, Nick. Oh, there's a question for Nick.
When you do the RCR stories on Pontiac, please don't gloss over the fact that John DeLorean designed the first Firebird and GM said they couldn't use it, then use it for the C3 Vet. Fuck Corvette. Well, I mean, I mentioned it in the John DeLorean RCR stories that he pretty much designed that first Firebird, and he wanted to redesign the Banshee, I think, and then they told him he couldn't do it, or at least I think maybe along those lines. I'm not remembering offhand because my mind is so swirled up in the script of the current RCR stories that I'm finishing for a week from Monday, which I had to record the audio 4th time, so I know that script inside and out to an obnoxious degree. And that's kind of why I brought in like voice talent like yourself and my sister and my mom and Dominic, because I got sick of hearing my own voice after a while, and I'm like, I need something to break this up. And so
I'm thinking we may take a week break after Austin, because I kind of wanted to come back into it and have one video immediately released when we get back, because like we were talking at some point before how November sweeps work on the internet just like they do in TV.
Yeah. The thing about, like, I can also, because I assume the RCR stories would take care of that week when we're back from Austin.
Yeah.
But also I would be working on my New York Comic-Con car show, like Rip on Cars type thing video. Mm-hmm. And I could save that for like the week that we're off. Yeah. And then if I go to Richmond the week after we get back from Austin, like I was considering, then I would have sort of if I go to a Cars and Coffee there, I would have another car show video. Yeah. And that's just two things. I mean, they're not going to do as well as like a car show video, but I don't think it's to the point where I don't think people care that much. Like, it's still content, you know what I mean? And that's what's nice about it, is you can put something out there into the ether, and, you know, you don't have to really, like, I'm not as concerned about how people take my solo car show videos anymore, because I'm now more comfortable in the format than I used to be. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the New York Comic-Con video, just because there's a lot of weird shit there. So much weirdness. And it's just, you know, there's always this one place under that, you know, sort of, I guess that awning at the Javits Center, for lack of a better term. The big open
area in the beginning?
The big open area. And that's where all the, you know, really weird stuff goes, like cosplay wise. You know, there was like a guy in a giant Ken doll outfit, like he was walking around in a box. And, you know, there was a guy who just looked exactly like Walter from The Big Lebowski, and all these other things.
You got his picture with?
Yeah. and it was just crazy, but yeah, like the most any of my Comic-Con videos ever did, I think the first one did like 37,000. But now I think I'm at a point where if I emphasize that this is going to be more about cars than it is about pop culture, or as much about cars as it is about pop culture, then maybe it'll get more like attention and whatnot. Yeah. And I got to think of like other things to call it, because I think it's hard to really nail the title thing down for a New York Comic-Con video, because it's happening so long after the con that any bump that you would get from it being a New York Comic-Con video would be kind of moot anyway. So it is what it is. I
think maybe I could do a bunch of videos, or at least one, I don't know, maybe two at Radwood, Philly, where at least I'm going to be. I'm hoping you can be too.
Yeah, I'm hoping so too. It all depends on how editing goes over the next 2 days, because I just need to have this done before Austin, so it's ready and good to go.
At the very least, I am going to be at Radwood, Philly on Sunday. So I can have a video up then, and that will be the week off, because I can cut that video in a few hours. If it's just a simple me walking around looking at stuff.
Yeah, same thing if I went to like a Richmond Cars and Coffee the week after Austin. Yeah. Like I would record it on a Saturday and have it to you like Sunday night or something. Oh, bless God. You. Thank you. Bathroom. No bleeding this time.
Iced Ink says, best Turnpike Service Plaza. Midway.
That's a good question.
It's the one where the Bob's Big Boy used to be.
Okay, yes. Yeah, there you go.
That's not there anymore. They got away with the...
It's not there anymore?
No, I think Big Boy as a franchise is done.
Oh, they used to make such good burgers, though.
Yeah, that was their thing. Yeah, that's the one, like, is almost at, like, a little bit more than halfway to Pittsburgh during the Pittsburgh one, and that's always the one where I stop, and I think it's Midway on I-76. Thank you, Iced Ink. That's a very good question. Randy Bish says, was I just being a shithead kid in high school, or was Margaret Fuller actually as a dreadful read as I remember? Easily my least favorite transcendentalist. I'm proud to admit, Randy, that I don't remember Margaret Fuller. I'm sure I read something, and maybe that's the point, that I don't remember that. That's a question for Nick when he gets back from P-Town. We'll get back to your question, Randy. Cactus Catastrophe says, I have 50 large. Okay, I love these questions. You're buying an American car. What is it and why? I have 50 grand on an American car. Okay. You didn't specify year. What do I want? Is a DeLorean an American car? Or is it an Irish car? Ooh, that's a question, isn't it? And do you consider Tesla? Well, Tesla is an American car. You know what? Fuck the world. It would be a Tesla. It would be a used Tesla. That's what I'd buy for 50 large. Okay, we got two questions. 50. That's my question on buying an American car. But Randy Bish has a question about a book that I don't remember reading.
Oh, my friend Randy. Oh, well, all right, let's see. Was I just being a shithead kid in high school, or was Margaret Fuller actually as dreadful to read as I remember? Easily my least favorite transcendentalist. I don't think that's a bad take. I mean, I think you're getting to the point where it's going to be a dry read anyway, regardless of the transcendentalist you choose. But it's also, not everyone's going to be, Thoreau or Hawthorne. I thought Fuller was fine as far as I can recall. It's been a good number of years since I've read anything by Margaret Fuller, but ultimately I think it's an acquired taste, and that's not really that shocking of a take, because ultimately you could say the same thing about literally any author, regardless of their discipline within literary theory, or just literary, academia. But ultimately, I think Fuller, See, it's hard because I would have to like think back to think of who my least favorite transcendentalist is. I mean, I don't dislike Fuller in the same way that I don't really dislike any other transcendentalist. It's a matter of whether or not the movement really does anything for you. You know, it's I don't know. It's very much a movement of its time, and so yeah. And I know that's like my answer for everything, but ultimately, I don't think. Or actually, no. So, see, I shouldn't say that it's a movement for its time because movements, by necessity, are kind of malleable across different generations and eras. But you know, Margaret Fuller, I don't know. She's fine-ish, but I can understand why someone wouldn't like her or why she'd be the least favorite transcendentalist author in someone's oeuvre. Or whatever it's called, the O word. If I have 50 large and I'm buying an American car, what is it and why? Oh man, you know, I would probably go with a Tesla too, but just because it's one of those things.
Model 3.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
If you have that money and you have the freedom to be able to get it, then that might as well be. And it has nothing to do with the whole cult of personality surrounding Elon Musk. It's that if the car wasn't as good as it was, you know what I mean? It's like you're backing it up.
Yeah. See, immediately I went to thought, well, I'm going to get the super resto modded Ford Mustang. And then I think I want an experience that is unlike any other. I want an experience. If I'm going to have, say, 50 grand and I want a lasting experience, it's going to be something outside of my wheelhouse, and that's what a Tesla is.
Yeah. Oh, and a quick answer from the regular chat, because he's asked a couple of times, from the 1KEA. Roman, have you considered making Spanish language content for RCR or your personal channel? No, I have not, because my Spanish is terrible. As I mentioned in the really depressing New Zealand diary, winter diary, I'm basically a coconut, where I, like, you know, yes, I'm Puerto Rican, but it's one of those things where, like, my Spanish is rusty and I'm not as confident in speaking it as I would be, you know, if, I don't know, like, it's, yes, I'm Puerto Rican, but there's sometimes where you don't feel as much of your culture, that you are as much of your culture as you probably should be, and you almost kind of feel ashamed that you're not more into your culture than you are, or more representative of your culture, because I love being Puerto Rican. I love Puerto Rican culture, but it's just the language thing is hard for me.
Take this as a gringo question, because it is. But when I see pictures with you and the family, I wonder where your complexion comes from, because everybody else is darker. Yeah,
well, no, because they get sunlight. But I was inside playing like Final Fantasy all the time, and you know, I was kind of a late bloomer in the sense that, like, whether it was with women, whether it was with being social, it all came after the fact. So whereas, you know, other people were out there in my family doing things and, you know, going places and all that other stuff. I mean, I was really a homebody. Like, I didn't really feel like going anywhere. Now, part of that was the anxiety, but a lot of it was also just the way that I am. And I like that now I'm at a place where, like, yes, I still do have very bad anxiety, but the idea 10 years ago that I would be able to fly to Austin for X number of days and, you know, not even really talk to my family or necessarily be around any of them, or being around home in any of my safe spaces is almost insane to me, but it's incredible that, you know, I'm thankful enough to be able to do this. So yeah, I can't complain.
So Burgundy Burnout's just weighing in. Thank you for donating your way into the conversation. But for 50 say, do whatever I can to find the cheapest 87. Oh, not even a Grand National. Because a Grand National you can get in for 50K easy. But a GNX, sexy, eye-catching, and suddenly you own every single cars because it's one thing to show up with a GN, but the GNX is something special. Yeah, I can dig it, Burgundy Burnouts. Boris again, hello. I want to start riding next year. Take the MSF course, but not sure where to start. Take the MSF course. I am 6'2", 107. Well, you're my weight and you're 11, 0, 1, 2. You're 4 inches taller than me and you weigh the same, maybe even less. And wear a triple wide shoe. Dude. 3E. Come at me when you get up to my size, which is 6.
Damn.
My feet are... I'm a quad sex. I'm a sex feet. That's a band name.
Yeah, it is.
And wear a triple wide shoe. Yeah, we're a 6E. What is a good brand of riding boots? New Balance. Let me show you the boot I wear for riding.
If you're calling about the car I sold it, this is Tuesday night, I'm bowling.
This is the New Balance. What's the model number? Oh, it's worn out on the tag. Does it say it on the side? It's very dirty. That's why I keep it outside. Oh, man. I can't read it anymore. It just says New Balance. It just says New Balance. Well, this is a New Balance hiking boot that I use for riding. It is warm. It is waterproof. And this thing is 10.5 6E. It is very wide. It is very comfortable and doesn't hurt my feet. So if this comes in 6E, this will come in 3E. Just says roll bar on the heel. Okay, New Balance always has, for people who don't wear these shoes, thankfully you don't have to. New Balance, most of their shoes are like the 540, the 390, stuff like that. And I forget what this one is, but if you just go on Amazon, because that's where I bought these, just type in your shoe size, and then probably this brown boot will come up, and they make these in all sorts of sizes. And I've been wearing this for 2 years, riding motors. 2 years. This is my second pair of these. So they're fine. And they grip the road when you're stopped at traffic lights really well. Okay, my next question is from Wesley about naked cruisers. I'm just going to put my boot back.
All right. So Wesley Rivera. Hey, buddy bud. What do you think of naked cruisers? I have a 2016 Yamaha Bolt R-Spec, and it's my second bike, and for some reason it was way easier to ride than the Grom I had before it. Opinion.
Well, yeah, you have a wider wheelbase. You have a longer wheelbase. Groms are kind of weird. Groms are a weird bike. I think of them as novelty bikes, but if you're in a city and that's your only mode of transportation, fucking fantastic. Groms are great. Now I think Yamaha makes a competitor to that. Oh, wait, is the Yamaha Bolt the Yamaha competitor to the Grom? Now I think that kind of is. Because I remember I sat on both, and I remember the Bolt was larger than the Grom. So yeah, it's probably the wheel base is longer. So it's going to be much more stable and way easier to ride. So that's why. But naked cruisers... well, that's most cruisers. And I think, when I think of a cruiser bike, I'm thinking of it's just a round headlight, it has no fairings, it has a tank, and it's a V-twin. Or maybe a parallel twin. So I think they're fine. Cruisers aren't really mine. I've had one. Oh, it was almost the standard. And in fact, the background image of the YouTube banner if you go to our page... Unless I changed it to the Vagabond Falcon. Did I change it?
No.
Is it still the exhaust pipes, or is it a picture of the Falcon? Oh, wait, the picture of the Falcon is on the Twitter. I think if you still go to the YouTube page, it's just a picture of chromed exhaust headers. And they're from a bike I had. It was, I think, an 85 Yamaha XJ700N. And it was my least favorite bike, but one of the most carefree, probably the most carefree bike I had. And I just, there was a little bit of lying in that because I touched my face as I said that. The crappy thing about that was the fuel light would come on at 90 miles. So that's like before I had to start looking for a gas station after about 50 miles. It had a tiny little fuel tank. It carried like 1.5 gallons of gas. It couldn't go far. And it was an inline four and it drank gas, got like 45 miles a gallon. Great for a car, terrible for a bike. And also because it was an inline four, but a narrow frame, but it had 4 carburetors sticking off with like, you would squeeze your legs too much. Your legs would touch the end of the carburetor guards, which would be hot, and you'd burn your legs right through your jeans. So, damn. It was an odd bike. It had a lot of power, and I only really had it for a year, but it was an interesting thing. So that's my thoughts on naked cruisers. They're kind of my deal, but I'm more of a sports bike rider and casual, relaxed sports bike rider, hence my GSX 650. Crazy Ivan 2 times again. Budget weapon idea.
Oh, bug out weapon idea.
Oh.
Any interest in a takedown longbow?
What's a takedown longbow?
I don't know. Is it a kind of crossbow? Let me look it up. Here.
I'm assuming takedown is similar to what a takedown rifle is, because my dad has one.
Bixby, Bixby, what's a takedown longbow?
A takedown bow is a bow assembled out of a riser and 2 limbs to make a working bow when strung.
So it's a bow assembled out of a riser and 2 limbs to make a working bow when strung.
That answers nothing. I don't know what that
I have no idea what that.
Where's Joe Rogan? He would know what this is.
He would know what this is, and he would like blessedly he'd probably have one on hand.
I had a compound bow for a while. It had a 65-pound pole. I didn't know how to use it, and the reason I had it is because a friend of mine wanted to get into skiing, and I traded my old skis for a bow.
Oh, it's just a bow and arrow.
Oh.
It's just regular,
Huh.
Yeah, well.
So I bought this compound bow, and I bought a bunch of Walmart arrows for it, and I didn't know what to do, and I didn't have any targets. So I went in my backyard and fired some into a hill, into the ground, like fired them into a hill in my parents' yard, and they bent when they went in. And then I went inside my parents' basement and shot one at a chair, like an easy chair, like the one you're sitting in. It went right through the chair and clattered across the room. I guess it slowed down enough going through this chair. Or maybe it like hit the floor and kind of just like crashed into a bunch of stuff in a storage room. I can't remember. And I'm like, oh, this thing is... And then I put it away. I'm like, I don't really know what to do with this. I took it into the woods and shot at trees, and the arrows went really fast and really far, and I never got them back. And then in my head, I'm like, these are like $3 an arrow. So what am I doing here? I just shot 2 and I'm out $6.
Yeah.
So I put it away, and who did I give that bow to? I don't have it anymore. I forget who I gave that compound bow to. I'm sure I traded it for something. I can't remember what.
Well, hopefully there's no apocalypse where you'll need that bow.
I don't think so. I think that's the end of the super chat questions.
I think we got one more that was mostly just hey, here's
residual.
Yeah.
Oh, we got catastrophe. We got got to scroll down.
So 3 more. Yeah, starts with Storm Chaser here. So Storm Chaser says, "Good evening. Finally able to watch you. I love your show. Just wanted to give a small donation. You guys are great. Thank you so much for the donation. $5 Canadian. Lord Machado Machado. Here's to hoping for more historic videos. I'm hoping to make more. And last but not, and thank you for the $10. And last but not least, Cactus Catastrophe. No more money after this, I promise. If both of you had to pick a brand to stand by, what would it be?
In regards to what?
Yeah, I don't know if it's car brand.
brand.
I mean, because I've been a Ford guy most of my life, but
I'd go to Toyota. Like if I had to drive, like we're playing the long game here. I'm gonna buy a car that lasts for a long, long time and go Toyota.
Yeah. But yeah, ultimately, and then
I guess a RAV4 would have to be my camera car. But that would mean giving up manual because I don't think RAV4s come as manuals anymore.
It's choices.
Yeah.
And then I guess finishing up with a question from the live chat because he's asked it maybe 20 times. Have you ever had someone road rage at you? Which I think is almost kind of like the story you were telling of that guy you laughed at in the Turkey Hill.
Yeah, that was within the realm of road raging, and that it was car related. But, like actual on the road stuff.
I mean, I haven't. I mean, I got flipped off before.
Yeah, and people do the long honk at you.
Yeah,
but it's not like someone who's angered themselves into a state of stupidity.
Yeah, they have their dander up and they've all like worked themselves up into a lather, and they just want to like get, gotta fight this aggression like they just got out of a Rocky movie and need to put that aggression somewhere. But yeah, I don't know. I've never had it happen, so, and hopefully never will. I try to be mindful on the road so that I can't like anger someone, although I know there are some people who will just get angry anyway, like they'll cut you off and then get mad.
Yeah,
like, oh, what are you doing? You're boxing me out.
Rogan was talking about how some people leave their house already at level 8.
Yeah,
so them getting to blow up mode doesn't take much.
Yeah,
and it's not you they're angry at, it's their own situation.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take much for someone who's already angry to go from 6 to midnight.
Yeah,
so.
That's a good line. 6 to midnight. Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is 49, so the next 49. One will be the Big 50.
Yeah, the Big 50. I don't think we're doing a podcast next week because we're going to be in Austin. Well, not an RCR podcast. We're going to do another person's thing.
I kind of want... Matt Happel is open to the idea of doing a podcast, but we'd have to go to him, and it may just be me and him. Because as of now, I only have these 2 mics.
Yeah.
I mean, I have the third mic, but I don't have a Phantom Power one on the mixing board. So, and I'd have to go to Matt Happel's house while he's watching his kid.
Yeah.
But I'd love to have Matt Happel on the show and just talk about LS stuff for a few hours.
But yeah, I guess the next time you see us for an RCR podcast, it'll be the Big 50, where we talk about Austin. Hopefully, talk about what you guys thought of the new RCR stories and what else we have planned.
Yep.
Because we're getting right into RCR Austin. This coming Monday is the season finale.
Yeah,
like this of the season.
Of the season, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a doozy. So I'm looking forward to, I guess, seeing you guys again once on the other side of Austin.
Yep.
But looking forward to Austin first. So anyway, thank you for joining us. I am Nick.
I'm Brian.
And have a great week, everyone.
Have a great night. I flubbed the line there at the end. Stop.